Today I'm going to talk about thoughts on the real you. First, I'm going to pose this question. What if the key to understanding your true identity lies not in what you say, but in what you don't say? So I have this theory about this related to Gnosticism. I'm going to try to unpack this, focusing on the pleroma, the divine realm, Sophia's error, the word of God, and cosmic redemption. The stillness beneath the chaos. Let's begin with this quote. We are not separated from spirit, we are in it. That's from Plotinus. In Gnosticism, the pleroma, the true divine realm, is often described as a place of stillness, peace, and fullness beyond thought and division. Obverse to this is the Kanoma, the fallen realm we inhabit, a place of instinct, needs, chaos, pain, disharmony, and death. The highest God is often referred to as Bithos, meaning the abyss or deep silence, a being beyond speech, thought, or form. The monad, the one, the parent, nous, and in this case it means higher mind. It is the 0 point. The Apocryphon of John says he is ineffable, unnameable, incomprehensible, and he is stillness. The Gospel of the Egyptians calls the supreme deity the silent one, untouched by chaos. Simon Magus in the Apophasis Megale, the great pronouncement, describes divine wisdom, Sophia, as emerging from profound silence. And just a side note here, the book title actually means the great act of denial or negation. That's the literal translation, which is pretty interesting, I think. So the first emanation is the Father, thinking, the subject doing it, noesis. The second emanation is the Mother, thought, the object, noeseus. The third emanation is the child, Christ, Sophia, thinking a thought of itself thinking, noesis, noeseus, noesis. And then on and on and on, more emanations. Here is the first facet of my theory. The greater mind, nous, is like a pond. When disturbed, it ripples with thoughts, identities, and illusions. Beneath the surface, there is quiet. The real or true you isn't the ripples, but the stillness below. Let's jump back to the Plotinus quote. We are not separated from spirit, we are in it. Our mind, the psychic anthropos, is indivisible from the greater mind. Gnosis is remembering this silence, recognizing that thoughts are mere disturbances, not reality. Sophia's error, the birth of chaos. The second aspect for my theory is Sophia's error. In Gnostic thought, Sophia's error led to the creation of the Demiurge, the false god who shaped the material world. This error mirrors the birth of greater mind thought, but it is imperfect. It is a flawed thought, which fragments the stillness into illusions of self, time, and identity. It's the emergence of chaotic thought, not sige, the silence, anoia, the aeon of thought. Instead, it's the archetypes, the self, persona, the shadow, the id, the ego, the superego, etc. All of the noise in our brain. These thoughts create an illusion, disturbing the stillness of knowing, the stillness of gnosis. The mind creates the problem, then suffers under its own illusion. If you've read anything about psychology, you know how true this is. This is a feedback loop perpetuating Sophia's error through the will of the Demiurge, her flawed creation. Zen and Taoism returning to the source. So how do we redeem ourselves? How do we return to the stillness? Well, I don't believe death is the answer. Death just brings us back here. We have to undo the error. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene suggests that attachment to thought binds the soul to illusion, whereas true knowledge is beyond words. In my opinion, the East has this right. Zen and Taoism can help redeem us. The Tao flows effortlessly, like water. It does not cling to concepts or identity, doesn't cling to forms. The sage's mind is so still, it can mirror heaven and earth and reflect the 10,000 things. That's from Chuang-Tzu. The teaching's voice is total silence amid the ringing wind chimes. That's from Hongji Zhengdui. Awakening is not finding a way out of Demiurge's discordant vibration, but realizing there was never one to begin with. If you think of the biblical God as the Demiurge, just humor me a minute on this. So this passage makes much more sense. John 1:1 states, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." I think this has always been interpreted as that the Word is good, but perhaps it isn't. Wouldn't that be the ultimate lie, ultimate deception? Looking at it this way, chants and vibrational mantras like would actually be hindering you. They would be putting you back into your human vibration because you're activating the material part of you, vocal cords in this case, to speak. The word is disruption and creates the ripples of time. It is the error. The Scottish philosopher and essayist Thomas Carlyle said, "Silence is as deep as eternity, speech as shallow as time." And then I want you to mull over this for a bit. After this video is over, just think about this for a while. So it's a Zen koan. "The wild geese do not intend to cast their reflection. The water has no mind to retain their image." Stoicism, observing without attachment. So the way out seems to be this: silence the mind. The best way is to observe, detach from the chaos of thought. But obviously that's easier said than done. I mean, I've done a lot of meditation in my life, and every time I do it, I still find it hard. So I'm not saying this is easy. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He also said this: "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." On the superficial level, this means the way you think determines who you become. But if we see our soul as part of the greater soul, if we see our mind as part of the greater mind, then it takes on a different meaning. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. That's Zeno. It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning events. Epictetus. The Stoics saw thoughts and emotions as passing phenomena. One does not have to be ruled by them. The chaos of our emotions almost always works against us. It works against us finding our way out. That's whether it's sadness or anger or joy, even bliss. I think all those things perhaps work against us because they put us back into our thoughts. Like a fire that consumes all thrown into it, the trained mind remains steady amid chaos. The trap of identification, the true soul trap. The moment you judge or follow a thought, you are caught in the illusion again. I'm happy, I'm unhappy. They are both illusions and judgments made. They are the ripples. The more you chase the ripples, the further you move from the depths. This has to do with like grasping things as well, that need. I think to truly embrace the stillness, you have to let go completely. Even letting go of the desire to want the stillness. The way out is not to think your way through, but to let go, observe, and return to the stillness. The real self is not the demiurgic thought. It is before thought, beyond thought, even beyond the higher aeons until you reach the sige, the silence. It's like yoking the mind in meditation. Distractions are part of the process. Rather than trying to suppress or fight them, acknowledge them and then refocus your attention. Refocus on silence and the letting go of the archonic confusion. Rome wasn't built in a day, however. I mean, just surrendering yourself to the silence for a brief time is quite difficult. But this will turn into longer times with practice. I guess my point is this. A lot of videos out there comment on the moment of death and the light, on not going into the light, avoiding the soul trap. But what if the way out is before then? What if the answer is actually before that moment? And what if by then it's too late? I'll wrap it up with this. Nothing in all creation is so like God as stillness. And that's from Meister Eckhart. Have a good day.